My name is Maury Reese and welcome to my video. This video is on setting the master EQ on the E463 keyboard. I'm going to explain how you do it and why you might want to do it. The built-in speakers on the E463 keyboard are only 4 inches long, and they put out a tiny 6 watts of power. So you are not going to hear the very best sound possible coming out of these little speakers. So what can you do to hear better sound coming out of the E463 keyboard? Well, if you've got a lot of money, maybe you could plug in your $4,200 Astel and Kern earbuds into your E463. I guarantee you with these earbuds, you're going to hear a lot better sound. Or maybe you plug in your $4,000 Mezzi audio headphones into your E463 keyboard. These are some of the best headphones in the world. And again, I guarantee you'll hear better sound coming out of that E463 keyboard through these headphones. I sometimes plug my E463 keyboard into my Roland keyboard amplifier. And now I have 4 powerful speakers with 320 watts of power. I can rattle the dishes in my wife's kitchen with this thing. And yeah, the sound that I now hear coming out of that keyboard is a lot better than the little built-in speakers. There is a way to adjust the E463 keyboard to get the best sound out of the built-in speakers, or out of the headphones or earbuds, or if you plug in an amplifier, you can get the best sound out of a keyboard amplifier. And that's what this video is about. This is a chart that shows frequencies of different instruments. Over here is violin, viola, bass guitar, the human voice. This is the keys of a piano, and up here are the frequencies. And what this chart shows is what we all understand, that, a violin has higher frequencies than a bass guitar, which has lower frequencies. So what we're going to be talking about is something called EQ. What if I could boost the volume of certain frequencies or lower the volume of certain frequencies? And that's what this master EQ is all about. We're going to be playing around with the volume of different frequencies. So you can adjust the quality of the sound out of the E463 by adjusting the master EQ. And if we looked at it on an EQ meter, what we're going to be doing is we could raise the bass frequencies and maybe lower the mid-range frequencies, and in this example, raise the volume of the high frequencies. We're going to be playing around with the volumes of those frequencies coming out of the keyboard. So, how do you set the master EQ? To turn on the master EQ settings, press and hold the melody suppressor / master EQ type button. And it's right here just to the left of the screen on your keyboard. So you have to press and hold it for, 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, so that's how we turn it on. Now, there are 6 different settings on the Master EQ button, and let's go through them one by one. By the way, after you press and hold the Master EQ button, you're going to use the rotary dial, which is just to the right of your screen. That's how you will select which of the 6 Master EQ settings you want. Use the rotary dial. So here's the first one, and it's called Speaker 1. By the way, this is the default setting, and it's best used to play through the built-in speakers. So when you bought this keyboard and you plugged it in and turned it on for the very first time, this is the default. it is automatically set up to try to give you the best sound possible coming out of your built-in speakers. That's the default. Here is the second setting, and it's called Headphone 2. Is the second setting, and the name tells you what it's good for. This is good if you're going to be plugging in headphones or earbuds. Go into the Master EQ, select Headphone 2 to get the best possible sound in those earbuds or headphones. Here is setting number 3, called Boost 3. This is the third setting, and it gives you a more powerful sound. But depending upon the selected voice and style, the sound may be more subject to distortion than other EQ types. So yes, it is louder and more powerful, but you might overdrive those little built-in speakers on your keyboard and it will distort. If we looked at an EQ screen, it might look something like this. We've boosted the bass frequencies, we've boosted the mid-range frequencies, and we've boosted the high-range frequencies. Everything is louder, more powerful, but you may overdrive your little speakers. If you have set up your E463 as a grand piano, there is a special setting on the Master EQ to make your keyboard sound great as a grand piano. And here it is, setting number 4. Setting 4 gives you the very best grand piano solo performance. So if that's what you want to play, and you want to hear the best possible piano sounds coming out of your built-in speakers, go in here and set it to number 4, piano. Number 5, setting 5 is called bright, and this lowers the volume of the mid-range frequencies to give your instrument a brighter sound. On an EQ chart, it would look like this. We have lowered the volume of the mid-range frequencies. So we still hear the high range frequencies, and that's what makes the sound brighter. We get rid of the mid-ranges, but we leave the basses and the high range frequencies. It's a brighter sound. Sounds crisper. Setting 6 is called mild, and this lowers the mid-range frequencies to give your instrument a softer sound. And on an EQ chart, it would look like this. We've lowered the volume of those high frequencies. You're just not going to hear them as well. But we leave the mid-range and we leave the basses, and the result is it just sounds softer. It's a softer sound, no matter what instrument you're playing. Whatever setting you set up in the Master EQ stays there permanently until you change it. So if you go in and make some settings, you turn off your keyboard and you come back a week later or a month later, whatever you have set up stays there permanently until you come back and change it to something else. And you've got 6 different settings. Of course, you can use any setting you want, any time you want. You don't have to have headphones or earbuds or amplifiers. You can use any of the 6 settings with your E463's built-in speakers. And I encourage you to feel free to experiment. Go in there and set it up as a piano and go through all 6 settings so you can hear how it changes the quality of the sound. I'm not going to do a live demo because it would be totally useless. The speakers built into your smartphone or your iPhone or your iPad or the computer you're using to watch this YouTube would totally eliminate any differences I would be setting up in my keyboard using the Master EQ settings. You just wouldn't hear it because the speakers in your device override anything I could do. In other words, you have to actually be in the room with me to be able to hear the different master EQ settings. If all you ever use are the built-in speakers on your E463 keyboard, these 6 different EQ settings are very subtle. Don't expect to hear a great differences because your little speakers hidden beneath the black grills on either side, they're only 4 inches long. So the differences in the 6 settings is very mild, very subtle. I hope this has been helpful. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch. And until I see you again on YouTube, be well.